generality of the people, especially the entirety of Ghanaians who will repose confidence in him to give him this amount of votes.
The good news is that John Mahama is the experienced driver who knows the destination is taking this country. So from day one, John Mahama will start implementing his policies. He's on top of his job. The number of Ghanaians on who will be huge, but I think he has the knowledge, he has the experience, he has what it takes to be able to soak the pressure and to calmly deliver on the mandate that he has promised the group of people.
120 days right after swearing in, the media is going to start counting the days. There's a specific, he made a promise specifically for what he's going to deliver within 120 days. The media will start to tick those days. Would you be surprised if he doesn't make it?
I believe he will make it because it was a well thought through manifesto. So a well thought through action plan that put in place. We are all holding the 120-day promise that he gave to the good people of this country. And I believe that everybody who has a role to play will definitely ensure that we play that role to help him to succeed.
Okay. All right. Many times that's someone of us who you can see in your shorts the national campaign chairman of the party. Good afternoon, Prof. Congratulations on your order. For you, what does this victory, quite emphatic though, from the good people of Ghana mean to the NDC, and what is the pressure that it puts on the president-elect John Dramani Mahama?
I've always maintained that when you are in any position, the people's position, you have to serve the people. Serve the people to the best of your ability. And in serving the people, you have to give respect to them because they came to them. All places that are worked.
2025, what does it mean to you?
Dramani Mahama will govern with ease, and the Ghanaian people have given him an eloquent pronouncement that we are vesting our faith, trust, and the future of our lives in you. And the Ghanaian people have also eloquently said that they want to see an end to impunity. The impunity of the Nana Addo government. The Ghanaian people have also made an eloquent pronouncement that they want a healthy democracy. And the mere transition of power from the MPP to the NDC will rejuvenate our democratic processes, our democratic institutions. What President Mahama will be guided with and should be guided with, and we should assist him, is to honor the faith of the Ghanaian people, to govern with humility and to govern at all times, knowing that the Ghanaian people are standing behind him saying, if you do fail us, we'll fail you tomorrow. So, and I'm confident, given where President Mahama is coming from, he's had the combined experience of president, former president, sitting back and observing a failing government and a failing president. He has no reason to fail the Ghanaian people.
Be honest with me, were you expecting that?
Oh, go back to my interview. I said 153. I said we're going to do 147 to 153. It's public. I said we'll form a majority in parliament, but I was conservative with my numbers. But I said from 147 to 153. I remember I said that by 9 p.m. Mia will be declared for John Mahama in his presence. So I choose my words carefully, and I know when to speak and what to say. So this vote, the rejection of Nana Addo and Bawumia, must be a learning test for every political office holder and every politician, that don't take the electorate for granted. Don't ever take the electorate for granted. And Ghanaians do it silently and quietly without you knowing what is in their thought. So we have to pray for President Mahama to succeed. He will inherit a very challenging economy, particularly between 2025 to 2027, but he will weather the storm. He will weather the storm. He will have to address the growing unemployment in our country. 24-hour economy must provide some new opportunities. I expect him to initiate some major constitutional reforms that strengthen some of our democratic and public sector institutions. and he will do just that.
Finally, for me, we're getting report of some of your supporters ransacking offices and all that. That should be of concern. And from your back,
The General Secretary of the party, Vivi Kwete, drew my attention to it. It's under control. I'm speaking on radio to calm them. This is not the way to be. That's criminal. I don't subscribe to it. I don't support it. Police must deal ruthlessly with any person who wants to undermine it. And then, you see, the Ghanaian people also eloquently said, Nana Adudankwa and Bawumia, stop undermining democracy and learn to fight corruption. Don't run family and friends down.
Okay, many thanks, I'm just seeing the spokesperson or the special aide to John Dramani Mahama, Joyce Boa Mokhtari, who is just drove into the yard. Let me just see if I can just catch a quick word with her to Joyce. She's just trying to get on let me just get them. She just want to get out of the car. But I mean, this is how the whole area looks like. The cantonment office of John Dramani Mahama. You see the place is getting jam-packed and jam-full, and the expectation of people is that because of the resounding victory that the people of Ghana have given to John Mahama and the NDC, governors will take a different turn, and to the effect that they will not have any impunity. These are words of the speakers I spoke to a short while ago. But Joyce Boa Mokhtari, congratulations on order. How does your boss feel about this amount of votes that he's had and the two-thirds majority it's appearing he's going into his administration with?
Well, I am sure that we are very, very grateful to the Almighty God. And you know my boss, when there's so much excitement, he remains so calm. Sometimes I wonder what's going through his mind. But I must be very honest with you, Kumla. We are deeply, deeply honored. We are so humbled by this phenomenal support from the people of Ghana. This is a referendum on the failed state of Akufo-Addo's government. It's as simple as that. So I don't even credit everybody, with anything but to say that Ghanaians have spoken against impunity. They have ended corruption. They have ended disrespect. And after all, they have proven that our democracy, even in this nascent state, is still the way to go. Komla, I look around it and I imagine that in 2016, we were told very boldly they won by 8 votes. In 2020, they won by over 400,000 votes. In 2024, the good Lord has given John Mahama the votes of 2016, the votes of 2020, and added even some. And the best part is that Ghanaians are also telling us that the hanged parliament served no useful purpose. Indeed, the gentleman who was actually feeling so big to want to be called a minority or majority leader returns to parliament now with no caucus. This should tell you that our leaders must take a cue from John Mahama. Humility, even in leadership, is alluring. It's beautiful. They speak about a one-term president as if it is a disrespectful thing. Today, Bawumia has become the signature of Akufo-Addo's failure. And I believe that Bawumia should be ashamed of himself today because he knows that he did not conduct a fair campaign. He didn't run the campaign in a way that was respectful. And one thing that I think stays with me is the fact that Samira, our second lady in 2016, the insult she rained on John Dramani Mahama and his family. I am delighted that today God has humbled Samira, that a man your father's age, you should not speak to him in the manner in which he did. Only that aspect pleases my heart and makes me realize that we must at all times conduct ourselves in a way that when the voices are played back to us, we will be able to own up to them. Komla, I speak largely to the good people of Ghana on behalf of John Dramani Mahama. I ask that we pray that we will hold their faith very, very carefully. I hope that we will respect their wishes and their views. I listened to someone today on your network, and he said the best thing about John Mahama is that John Mahama is a man who listens. He respects people's views, divergent views. He is a tolerant man. But he knows one thing for sure, that John Mahama understands the exigency of the day, and that JM would deliver on his promise to the good people of Ghana. Today we are all waiting for the Electoral Commission. Hopefully in the next few hours there will be a formal declaration. I know there's another team at the home waiting for His Excellency, the President-elect, John Dramani Mahama. And very, very soon we will all listen to the declaration, and hopefully he'll be addressing the nation at 7 p.m. to the glory of God. And let me say that in 2016, a friend of mine told me on a lighter note that I was actually the face of the failure of the NDC. I'm delighted that today God has also made me a part of the success story of JM's comeback. And I'm humbled and grateful to all of you, especially you in the media, for support, our drivers, all the security men, the many volunteers, our national executive, our National Communications Officer, the General Secretary, our Chairman, Asiedun Ketia, the running mates, Nano Pokwajima, and the many teams that stepped out there day and night. You know, look, for all of us today, let's celebrate those who followed the ballots, those who dedicated their lives at the collation centers, those who spent hours queuing out there to cast their ballots.
Would you agree that no honeymoon for John Mahama?
Why would he even want a honeymoon? When you've enjoyed this overwhelming support, it actually behoves on you to hit the ground running.
120 days. I know you and I have had discussions in the back, and I have told you of how the media would be counting not just the 120 days, but also stick to the specific issues he raised in terms of the promises. 120 days, the media will be counting. What is the conviction of you that John Mahama would deliver or stick to the specific issues he's raised or delivering within the 120 days?
Let me say one thing that I know for sure. That I looked in the crucible yesterday, and I looked at the numbers that have given their support to John Mahama. And I said one thing, with the kind of parliament that he has, the constitutional amendment review process should be something that we start with immediately. The Operation Recover All Looted Assets should start immediately to end state capture. The third thing is that every effort to manage our public debt should be instant, and that is something that his own modesty would probably clearly put in proper perspective. The next thing is that Ghanaians are starving. There's so much hardship. The minute the economy bounces back, the minute we stabilize the city, the minute we actually manage to stabilize the exchange rates, make no mistake, things will immediately start to improve. But I want to make myself an ambassador for everybody who has gone through this hardship, that we will ensure that we deliver on the development things that will go a long way to ameliorate the hardship of the many Ghanaians who have gotten multi-dimensionally poorer under Akufo-Addo and Bawumia. It is for them that I celebrate this win today.
Okay. Many thanks, Joyce Boamotari is the aide to John Dramani Mahama. Let me see if I can get a few people to talk to as well. Obobia Dako, let me just have a quick word with Obobia Dako. Obobia, congratulations are in order. For you, you represent the young people, especially, I've seen the work you've done with the young ladies. What sort of hope does this victory bring to them in terms of one, education, also in terms of liberating them, and especially the younger generation who are ladies?
I simply think that just this win should motivate them enough. They should know that those of us who have been on the road, been into the constituencies, been into the tertiary institutions, campuses and all, this is what we were preaching. It's important that they understand that so far as we are there, whatever it is that we promised, whatever it is that we preach will come into fruition. So I'm happy about this win. It gives us a chance to deliver exactly what our promises were so far as the youth of this country are concerned.
What is the pressure going to be like on John Mahama within the 4 years?
I simply think that he has a lot to do, and it's important that we don't take it for granted. The country has been run down completely, and he's very virtually going to start from the scratch. So there's going to be a lot of pressure on him. But knowing the man John Dramani Mahama, I know he will deliver. I know he's ready for it. I know that he knows what he's in for already, and he's ready for the task ahead.
Now, we're told that we'll be speaking at 7 p.m. And I guess...
And he is at the office of the President-elect John Dramani Mahama in Cantonment, and the crowd is charged. They are awaiting the EC's official announcement of the presidential results for the 2020 elections. It is 4:30 now. The EC had indicated earlier that they were going to announce the results at 4:30 p.m. We hope that they stay on time. And so once that feed is ready, we're going to head straight to the National Office of the Electoral Commission so that the returning officer, Madame Jean Adukwe-Mensah, will tell us who has won the 2024 general elections. I believe for a lot of Ghanaians, they already seem to know who has won, but they need that official declaration so the Suluku can officially begin. But we'll be waiting for that, and of course, we'll let you know exactly when the feed is ready. But you heard from Madame Joyce Muktari, and she's a special aide to the former president, now president-elect. And so on air right now, we're actually showing you live pictures from the EC headquarters where the declaration would be done. And we're just waiting for the returning officer to take her seat, Madame G. Mensah. And once she does, we believe that the official announcement will start. And of course, our man, Mawina Beta, is still there, and so he will update us on it. But like I said, we heard from some executives, senior executives of the MPP, who have all converged at the office of the president-elect, awaiting the results, after which we're told that former President John Dramani Mahama would then address the crowd. And an overwhelming win, by the way. We're looking at the map, and it's just unbelievable. But again, Joyce Muktari said it's that all the votes that they lost in 2016 and 2020, God has given them the votes in 2024, and so she's happy about it. And so let me just engage my guests quickly, or do I go to Michael? Maybe I should go to Michael. He should run us through. All right, let's go to Michael and Beatrice right now. Michael, what do you have for us?
Well, just looking at the map of Ghana so far, it's quite fascinating. Ghana has never looked this green ever. It's never looked.
We embrace all.
Okay.
One of the accusations of this Nana Bawumia government has been the fact that they were too inward-looking, dealing with a few people. Can you imagine a political party where its members of parliament were telling the president that, look, sack the finance minister? He says no. I mean, what sort of governance is that? And all these culminated in a sort of defeat that we have seen, and I believe it must be a huge lesson to the NDC, particularly my brother, Comrade Mutala, who knows what it is. He himself was telling us a while ago that polling stations that hitherto the NDC found it very difficult to win. He wanted. It's a statement, it's a protest vote. But if he can organize himself and do what the people are expecting of him, that will be all. But in all these, they have to be truthful to the people.
All right.
That does not mean that outrageous promises, you have to kill yourself. Carry the people along, be truthful to them. If it is not there, it is not there.
Okay. Well, speaking of promises, I mean, we'll come back after the declaration to look at the 121st 120-day action plan of John Dramani Mahama. But let me go to Dr. Ishmael Norman so he can also tell us. I mean, you've been asking the EC to declare the results. And I know you're very much on time. You don't like it when time is wasted. They told us 4:30 is 4:36. I mean, this is the longest wait ever, I'm sure, for any NDC member at this point. But finally, we're going to get a declaration so the nation can move on. What do you say?
It's already about time for the EC to do that, but I am so happy for this country that God has blessed us all to make a decisive decision for us all, inspired all of us to vote for NDC, because God saw how we were all suffering. According to Vice President Bawumia, everybody was suffering. And God says, I will give you someone that will take you out of the misery. And I believe that because President Mahama has been a man of inclusivity,
I believe that he will pull the nation together, and this nation is going to do wonders within the 4 years of his administration.
I see. You believe that? I mean, just to ask you before I go to Comrade, a lot of Ghanaians have also said that this is the same man who was voted out of power in 2016. And there were a lot of complaints about his governance and his inability to do the things that, you know, a lot of Ghanaians expect. So they made a mistake in 2016?
We made a mistake.
We made a mistake in 2016?
It was a serious mistake. And we saw the result. Misery everywhere. It didn't matter how rich you are, how poor you are, we were all in the same kind of pain. And God said, I will deliver you from your misery. This is a response of our prayers.
Look, someone's probably watching you here, wearing your suit and wondering if you're actually suffering. You know, at this point, they say everybody is suffering. Are you sure you suffered?
I was suffering.
You were suffering.
Because I take care of other people, so when they need me, I have to provide. So what I didn't have to provide, I was compelled to give it up, so that they too can be balanced.
Comrade, you must be very excited, and I know you'll be heading to the office of the president-elect very shortly, but before that, let's find out from you, how do you feel at this moment that EC is finally going to announce?
Well, first and foremost, the stories we have seen and the experiences of EC officers and the gross incompetence they have demonstrated in some of their constituencies is nothing but a symptom of how incompetent Jim Mensah and her team are. You see, when you appoint party activists, known party activists, as people who should manage your electoral processes, these are some of the challenges. Look, when Jim Mensah was appointed, I publicly stated that she was a family relation to the First Lady. And I remember Kweku Babu sat on Good Morning Ghana News 5 and said I was lying, only for it to be proven in open court that she was indeed a direct family member of the First Lady. I'm still waiting for a humble apology from Kweku Babu. He hasn't done that. I know he won't do that anyway. You have Bosman Asari, with whom I was in the same campus with. He was a TESCON member. He became a TESCON patron, and you appoint such a person to manage the electoral processes of this country. These are some of the things I expect Jane Mensah, if I were her, if she has some honor and some dignity and some principles left in her and Bosman Asari, after declaration of the results, they'll say we are leaving. If they have some honor. But you see,
immediately after declaring, so you're saying that you're expecting that once the cameras are on here?
I expect her to do that. But you see, the reason why the people of this country overwhelmingly voted President Mahama is because they were lied to, and people easily can compare the score sheet. These are two presidents. One borrowed $50 billion, 50 billion Ghana cedis, and there are projects, monumental projects to show. The Terminal 3, Rich Hospital, University of Ghana Medical Center, the Eastern Corridor, the Circle Interchange, the Pokwasi Interchange Phase 1. You can see some of the things that President Mahama did. You have another government who has borrowed close to 700 billion, and there's absolutely nothing to show. You have a government who managed the unemployment rate in this country, which was 8.4. Dr. Baumia, when he had the opportunity to do his voodoo economics, he said he was incompetent. Under his watch, is running to 17%.
If you say they have nothing to show, I mean, they'll point you to Agenda 111, they'll point you to...
Which of them have they completed? Which of them have they completed? And by the way,
the spin tax overpass.
The spin tax overpass was not a contract awarded by this government. And man, you go and check how much was the total amount of money to be used for the purpose. And in any case, if you have borrowed that much, close to 700 billion. And the only thing you have to show is that, look, the people of this country who have overwhelmingly voted President Mahama, they are looking forward to one thing, that those who plundered the resources of this country, those who looted the resources of this country, must be made to face the full rigors of the law. Governance, or the opportunity to govern as a political elite, is not a license to rob the state. Look, you have a president who were told that President Mahama was so incompetent, the dollar to the city in this country. We were told by Dr. Baumia that they had arrested the dollar, you know, and he locked it at the police headquarters, gave the key to the IGP. The dollar has become a fugitive. At the time when the dollar was 4 cedis to $1, the reason why we have these challenges, you don't need what's the name? that know Adam Smith.
Ah.
You don't need Adam Smith to come and tell you that one of the easiest way you can show up the value of your currency in a country that is hugely import dependent is to reduce your import dependency. Look, in 2016, I had the privilege, opportunity to be appointed a deputy minister for trade. We were spending about $500 million for the importation of rice and poultry products into this country. Dr. Bomir said it was unacceptable. Within 4 years or 8 years, we're spending over $3 billion in the importation of the very things we have the capacity to produce. And there is evidence. 2014, as a result of the visionary policies President Mahama introduced and implemented, we reduced the importation of rice into this country by 40% and increased the production of local rice by 60%. So there was a direct correlation. Now, if we're able to do that, why can't we? And it's a simple law of demand and supply.
We were told by the then Agric Minister that we were going to stop the importation of rice to a large extent by 2023. We didn't see that happen.
I'm saying that we...
So I just wanted to put that in, that in fact we heard the minister then, Honorable Akuto, I believe that's his name, say that we're going to stop the importation or reduce the importation of rice by 2023.
But isn't it mind-boggling? NADMO, the purpose for the establishment of NADMO is when unfortunately disaster strikes. People who are at the lower ebb of their survival, government comes or intervenes to provide shelter, protection, and others. The rice that NADMO uses for such purposes were rice that is imported into this country. The only reason why they would do that is because the companies from whom they get this imported rice, they have a percentage. Because it doesn't make sense. You have buffer stock. And buffer stock still deals with imported rice. I am a victim, and I've said this time without number. That look, when we harvested our rice, including the former minister for health, Honorable Menu.
Menu, yes.
Menu.
Yeah.
Many people don't know it's a very huge rice farm. We all harvested our rice. We didn't have market for them. When I was going in for the last season to play, I had to reduce the price because we wanted to get rid of it. And it's simple. Companies such as Abnash, who are rice milling companies, they buy directly from the farmers. So when they buy, they also process and the state buys. Now if buffer stock doesn't buy from them, school feeding they don't buy from them. Not biggest buyers, they don't buy from them. For 3 years continuous, Abnash says we can't process. So if they don't buy from the farmers to be able to sell to the state, what would the farmers do? But as a result of that last year, many people didn't get into farming. So if you look at some of the policy interventions of President Mahama and why people said President Mahama, they voted him out, because Ghanaians were hoodwinked into believing that President Mahama was a disaster. They claimed that President Mahama was corrupt. Lordina Mahama had hotels in Dubai. Not a scintilla of evidence of any hotel Lordina Mahama had. But better, on your program, you had the daughter of the president who had the capacity, the effort to call me on your program to virtually threaten me because I stated on the program the corruption that she engages in. At the Terminal 3, she had the capacity to call for 15 minutes. She abused me on phone. That lady was selling Alata Samina before the father became president. The daughter.
Okay.
No, let me just now. The fair one. What's the name? Is it the one?
Can we not? So that the right time.
No. I am talking about the gross, the crass, and the morass of arrogance that was demonstrated by people who were given the opportunity to serve. An opportunity to serve as a minister or head of any agency is not an opportunity to loot. Look, Bella, it's simple. You had the airport spaces, they ran adverts for people to bid for, and there was a compulsory fee of $5,000. All those who were bidding for the spaces, compulsory fee of $5,000. For some strange reason, the bidding process was truncated, and automatically you have to return their $5,000 to them. Ghana Airport Company issued checks. I have copies. Now when they did that, they then gave the spaces to the daughter of the president. You remember on that program, when I asked her, how much do you pay for a square meter. She said, I paid $30 per square meter. Even Marina Mall, you won't pay $30 per square meter.
How much would you pay?
In fact, let me just give one example. Airport, the terminal 2, the old one, they pay $50 per square meter.
Okay.
And you know one interesting thing? Now, she pays $30 per square meter. The bidding process, the companies who bidded for it, the minimum they each quoted per square meter was $565. And she told me on phone that she paid $30 per square meter. This issue ought to be investigated. This issue, it ought to be investigated.
The question then is, how can Ghanaians trust that the NDC, as they have stated in their manifesto, that they're going to, initiate the operation, recover all loot? How can Ghanaians trust the NDC to go through
We
that?
have a moral duty, and President Mahama has demonstrated beyond number that those who are even closer to him, many people in this country didn't know the relationship between President Mahama and Honorable Abu Gapele. I served as a deputy under Abu Gapele. Many people are unaware that they virtually grew up together. President Mahama, regardless the relationship he had with him, went ahead to have him prosecuted. Now you have National Service Secretariat. It wasn't any journalist who did any work. President Mahama got the information about the corruption that was going on there. He instructed the National Security to investigate. The National Security investigated, and people were made to pay. Under this government, tell me one single individual they had the capacity to prosecute.
So Ghanaians can trust you.
The reason is simple. The Flagstaff House became the citadel for corruption. This Flagstaff House, I think that it ought to be purified. It ought to be sanitized. We need to get prayer warriors to go and pray to God to forgive us for the graft, the corruption that is going on there. I have given you examples where President Mahama prosecuted his own.
So you're saying we
he
can
has
trust
the capacity to do that. And it is not only those who have plundered the resources of the state. Even those who may be given the opportunity to serve, they better watch out. What President Mahama promised that look, his fight for corruption, his preparedness and willingness to prosecute those who engage in same is not only going to be against the former appointees, even those who were appointed.
I hear you, and we are also hoping that all the appointees under the president-elect as well would also do what they ought to do. Because we've had a lot of you speak up, and Ghanaians have said that the same way you are criticizing this government, if you come in and you repeat even half of the mistakes that they are also, repeating, then that's going to be a problem. But let me just come to you.
Because the people have spoken very, very loudly. For me, as a politician, one message I get from this Mahama Chinan is that you can no longer take us for granted.
Okay.
And that you can no longer be comfortable when you are given the opportunity to serve as a political elite. I have said time without number. Now look, when we are looking at corruption, it permeates the entire fabrics of the Ghanaian society. But you see, some politicians are fantastically corrupt. And if you need to see those who are fantastically corrupt, just get out of TV3. Turn left, you see a huge building there. They are there.
Well, it's not just the NPP politicians. I mean,
but I said they are
generally. You said
corrupt.
Some, and I'm just.
And
I just want us to admit that not all of them are fantastically corrupt. I see. Well, I know you have to go, but please just give us time. Let Manji Mesa start speaking. It's 4:51. Electoral Commission. We're still waiting for you. You gave us 4:30. But Solomon, I mean, that same sentiment as to whether Ghanaians trust that the NDC will go after all these alleged corrupt officials. Do you have that belief?
I'm a bit skeptical, but we have to give them the opportunity. Because you see, one of the things that I realized with the NDC when they to assume the office of power is that some of their foreliners were in bed with the NPP, eating with them, enjoying with them. So how do you go in to prosecute them? That is where the problem is. To achieve prosecution, the quality of investigation must be top notch. Now, in the investigation let me scratch your back syndrome. But you remember when you were in opposition, all the largesse you enjoyed, it included all these things that you are investigating on. How do you prosecute them? That is the biggest challenge. Yeah, President Mahama may have all the beautiful ideas, the tenacity to prosecute. But he cannot be everywhere.
Yeah.
He has to delegate. And in delegating all the responsibilities, whether or not these people will carry through his vision, that is where my greatest worry lies. He is going to carry through what he has promised. Because let me tell you, any attempt not to investigate and prosecute and recover, my focus is not about just putting them behind bars or jailing them. Recover the loot, because we need the money to build this country. Look, a typical sector like the land sector. Go and see that institution called the Lands Commission. A whole national security must set up there and investigate them through and through. How they have managed to share state lands.
So your interest is there because he says you have to purify Jubilee House. You are saying national security should set up a whole investigation.
We have said this
office, okay.
And also let me just add that the statement made by Salam Mustafa, the national security or the police has to immediately pick him. That he was going to organize his men. He had to be picked. You see, the mere fact that we are in election with so many laws are not working. We are going to organize you.
Well, he said if the NDC does not call
its
supporters to order,
he's bigger than the state now.
Mobilize it.
So you have identified that the NDC is doing something on top. What prevents government? Mind you, there hasn't been any change of power. That can only take place after the 7th of December, January. So you are still ruling the country, and I don't think you want to promote lawlessness. You understand? So it is very, very important. But we are watching, like I said, my former party was the New Patriotic Party. Let me remind the NDC and their supporters to understand what some of us stand for.
All right.
You saw how I descended heavy on my former party. All we want is that this country must be governed and governed well. These people have done so much damage to this country that former President Mama will miss the opportunity of writing his name in the book of records if he decides to allow them to go free.
Okay.
Every single person must be retrieved. If he doesn't have the information, I have it. The loot, I have it. Just a simple lifestyle audit. You get all of them. Criminals. The result you saw is the criminality. The people are voting against criminality. So if he doesn't have the information, fortunately for him, some of us are not getting. We have all the details.
You have the information.
Absolutely.
And you're willing to divulge.
No, but I'm already telling you that I'm going to. I will give it to him.
Yeah, but you don't have the intercepted documents here.
No.
So that's
why I'm saying that. Already. Look, and you see, these foreigners in this country, our brothers and sisters who are Chinese, who are Indian, some of them, that you are fronting for them. Look, this system will be corrected. The system.
Okay.
If he really means business and wants to appease the team Mazda voted for the NDC and for Ghana. I saw Joyce and Co wearing NDC t-shirt. I believe this time you are wearing Ghana cap. You are wearing national Ghana. Let your team begin to show nationalism. Ghana, so that you carry the people along.
Okay.
And you retrieve all this money.
Well, let me just ask this. I mean, I remember when there was a whole inclusive government under former President Kufuor. I just want to find out, in this case, if there's an opportunity, for any appointment to a special office for Alan, should he take it?
I cannot speak for Mr. Alan.
Okay.
But the point is that Alan can. He's a statesman.
Okay.
He's already here. We have given John Muhammad the greatest service he has done for you is to have given him this.
He gave it to him.
No, but he knows. I'm sure.
But they also have their manifesto.
You see, you have this. All that Allah will tell you is in this.
So this is better than the NDC manifesto.
Well, 120 days we are watching.
Okay.
Is that what it is?
Yes.
All right.
Dr. Ashwin, and by the way, Senior Hosi has just joined us. Such good timing, especially when the results are going to be announced. He is a financial and economic policy analyst. Senior, good to see you.
It's a pleasure to be here.
I hope you're well.
Yeah. Today you guys reflect the economy.
We should reflect
You've
it.
been dressing in a way that doesn't reflect the economy.
So
But today,
today we look.
you have come down. You have come to our level. You are
Okay,
welcome.
I see. Welcome. I knew you would have some words to share with us, but Dr. Norman,
Yes.
I mean, there's a whole 120-day action plan for President-elect Mahama when he comes into power. I don't know if you had the chance to look at some of them, but for you, within the first 100 or 120 days, what are some of the things you expect President-elect Mahama to do?
Well, a lot can be achieved within the 120 days. In fact, the standard is normally 100 days, but he has added 20 more days. That means that every 4.5 days, he has to achieve one of those things in a social contract. And there are a lot of details. So I have suggested on another platform, he also has to every week hold a press conference to tell us what he has been able to achieve.
In the first 160 days, every week?
Every week. Because that will be the only way we can monitor what he's doing. But he needs to put his team together. One of the things he has to achieve is that the transition team must be very, very good and moral people. Because if you don't do that, you put people who will put their relatives, their wives, their children, and all of that, like it happened under President Akufo-Addo, where over 60 people from his family are working under him. Very wrong. Anti-democracy. So President Mahama has a big responsibility ahead of him. I don't know how the man rests or how he sleeps, but this is not going to be easy. Only if he is determined, only if he puts a good team together, in order to create the jobs that he wants to create. Ghanaian work ethic has to be looked at. And I know that the man sitting to my right has spoken about Ghanaian work ethics in a number of days and times. And I have written actually several papers on Ghanaian work ethic.
Republic. He has said that he's going to govern with 60 ministers. And then also, he's going to do that within the first 90 days in office. Is this feasible?
Yes, very easy.
Okay. Is it feasible to have only 60 ministers?
Oh yes, I think it's already too big. If it can even come down.
To what?
16.
16 ministers?
Yes.
Well, per the Constitution, you need up to 19.
I know. Okay,
19
so
cabinet ministers.
okay, let's do the 19.
Okay.
60, I mean, what are they going to be doing?
16.
Sorry, 60.
Okay.
With their deputies. It's already too big. So, in order to reduce cost, if it can even come down, it will be better for Ghana.
I see. So 60 is too much. Well, there are some who are
we will
complaining.
accept that.
There are some who are saying that even the 60 might be too small. Is he sure he can stick to that number?
How many ministers that UK, Britain, how many ministers? United States, 380 million people. How many secretaries of state do they have?
Let's contextualize all that.
I understand
because
that.
the governance system is quite different.
Very different. I understand that.
Yes, so
Yes.
Okay.
it is possible to do 60.
Which it is possible?
It is possible to do 60.
Okay.
It is still possible. Ghana, it's possible for Ghana to work again. If it wasn't possible for some people to break their age, it doesn't mean that other things in life and in Ghana will not be possible. Please, let us possible our lives. Move on. It is possible. It is honestly possible to deal with the 60. But a quick comment on the issue about corruption and all that we all hope for. Hey guys, let's all manage our expectations. I don't think that it is in our place to want to trust the NDC. It's a waste of time.
To trust the NDC?
Don't trust anybody. All these politicians, they all come and do their thing.
You voted for them. You don't trust them.
Hold on, let me finish. Don't trust anybody. What you should be looking for is not who to trust at this stage. We have voted for them. What you should be looking for is how you will hold them to account. When you hold them to account, they will deliver. In Ghana, when you are not going to mark somebody something in an exam, the people will not learn. You yourself, look at your life. When they tell you these areas are what is going to come to the exam, what do you go and learn? What do you go and learn? So it is only what you mark that the people will prepare and pass on. So if we want to do it, Ghanaians must now focus on how to hold them to account. towards the delivery of the Ghana that you need. We like to do one thing in Ghana: appoint and abdicate. We've appointed you president, this, that, we forget it. It's your job to fix this problem, do everything. In 4 years' time, we will decide. My friend, where we are right now, there's no 4 years anymore.
What's there now?
It's everyday matter. Our lives are at stake. Our children's future are at stake. While we are here playing this tomfoolery in this country, the children in Singapore are not. The children in Germany are not. The children in Rwanda are not. We'll be sitting in this our country and we'll continue to be slaves to our own selves. Please, forget it. The only thing this country needs right now is proper accountability.
How do we do that?
It comes from the people. It comes from you not being quiet. The way we have to go out there and express our sentiments about the current government, you must express your sentiments on a daily basis about the government that will have come next month. And I love the fact that you're giving them some recommendations. You hear this story about corruption and then they are talking about, do you really trust any of these politicians on any matter of corruption? You see, I'm coming. So if we don't hold them to account, they won't do it. Guess what? The formula in Ghana is very simple. You get some party, you get some arrangement, you get something, you get some one big deal. Deal one, you show, you pay back. Everybody happy. Then they give you a bigger deal. Then you get to a point where you steal too much from the state. Then you become more powerful. You start financing all the politicians and you start owning them. You think that the people who looted this state have not funded the NDC campaign. You are joking.
Do you have any evidence to show?
You are not a business person.
I'm sorry. No. I'm just asking whether I'm business or not. We deal with facts and figures.
It's fact, and I'm telling you that businessmen have funded this election. And these are polypreneurs, including even members of the existing party, and they do it both ways. I'm a businessman. Me, I funded both of the elections. What's your problem?
You are very rich. Meanwhile, you are here saying you're a hustler. So one day you are saying you're a hustler, the next minute you are funding political parties.
I will fund political parties, and I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. It is our civic duty to fund our politics. If we don't fund the politics, others will fund their own narrative. And that is why we are where we are. How would Mama go around the country? Is he going to print money from his house? Or he goes to some place, I want a billboard, my name is Mama, then the billboard will just show up. It won't happen. Somebody has to pay for it. So politics must be funded. That's why I've always advocated for the state to effectively fund our democracy. If we don't fund it, other people will fund it. And when they fund it, they take high returns. They will loot the state. So if Mama wants to deal with this thing, one of the things I advise for the people who you know have looted the state, my dear Mama, matter is simple. The looting that they looted was the looting of the state. So the money they brought you is the state's own money. It is we know our own money that they brought to you. So if you catch them tomorrow, you haven't done anything. We just recovered a part of our state money for us. So now, still don't come and cheat anybody any favoritism. Okay. I know people who have who partook in serious deals that rape our country.
Okay.
Very insensitively. But everybody gets a comfort that as long as I funded the government of the time, I am sort of protected. You can't continue to work that way.
Okay.
As a politician, if I were one, and you look at the state and you want to come and fund me, I'll collect the money. The money is not for you. I'll deal with you.
So then, if that's the case, there's also the call that the states in funding political parties will give a level playing field to the smaller parties as well, so that they also can have that level of, visibility, because that's the problem now.
One of the things we need to understand is that political parties are foremostly policy houses. Public policy's house is politics. So that is the mechanism for shaping, driving, and implementing policy.
Okay.
So they must be capacitated and resourced well. But you must earn your place at the table. You can't just come and set up some mosquito party, then all of a sudden you expect that there should be state funding for you. No. It is the representation that you command. There are different mechanisms, but it is important we discuss how we fund our politics.
Okay.
If we don't fund it independently, and politicians will have to depend on businesses or on their own resources, they would have a need to recoup it. This man is
you know, how many votes you polled as well. So all the best to you. He says they are doing business with our country. And for someone like he's been in the game.
And it's obvious, like you were saying, you cannot be going around without somebody's problem. You understand? And most of these guys who are in the person just finished university,
I can't imagine
entered into politics. How do you think goes around?
And that's what we're seeing lately.
Yes, and it is very easy for a businessman, it's a businessman. It's very easy to
businessman who reach the state too.
The easiest
normal
thing is
businessman
to manipulate this current crop of politicians. But they have never worked. You understand? They themselves are poor. So you move in, you give them a peanut, then they follow you. And you begin to see them signing all manner of contracts. Signing all manner of contracts. We need to up. That's why I am always preaching that businessmen and people who have the society must also begin to enter politics. So that we change and say he's an activist. You must let him go.
I beg you, let me fence myself.
You are not fencing anything. You have a point. People must enter in there. You see that it will change. If you go into it and you see the caliber of people who are making the decisions for you and I, you will cry.
It's right. They are
You will cry. Go to the various constituencies. You go and pick the delegate album. Yes, one of the media houses must begin to do it. Go to a particular constituency, a middle class constituency like Ukai side where I come from. You pick NDC and begin to call them. You call someone, the person is sleeping on the cabinet to function. You go in circles and the country is not moving on. And so all these things must be dealt with. And it can only be done when the state is funding political parties. But we can also not do it when the economy is also not doing well.
No, you see, the truth of the matter is, it is that political funding that leads to the corruption that we have. So if we are losing 3 billion a year from corruption, why don't we rather channel a part of this to rather fund the political parties and directly hold them accountable? Put proper constraint on how you can campaign. I was JCR president at time you need 4 photocopies. They won't allow you. I'm just telling you, they won't allow you to print it anywhere.
No.
Any other 4 boards, everybody to see, go and walk around. You can't go and give anybody money. Today, one man like me, I cannot contest some. Go to the university. So please, right now, look.
You keep confusing us. One man like you fund political parties. Where are you getting the money from? If you're a poor man, where are you getting the money to fund a party?
I'm very proud and bold to say here that I have not done any government business before.
Zero. No, that's not what I'm asking.
Yes, I do businesses. And I have a number of them. I have good investments with technology, with international multinational companies as my clients.
Don't worry, you're not the one on that TV. I was just asking that question.
You're right.
Yeah.
Top 10. We've built our pension funds, Tesla Capital, and we've done well.
Okay, now I'm going to start charging you. It's okay. Stop mentioning the names because that one is advertisement. Hold on. But Dr. Shono, in terms of prosecuting corruption cases, which of those cases must come first? Which one is of importance to you?
In order to prove a case, you need the evidence.
Yeah.
So whichever case, the adjudication of cases. So how the adjudication of cases. So how do you begin? So this is why I'm saying it's a daunting task for President Mahama. But if the evidence is ready, if the witnesses are ready, if the prosecutor is ready, you proceed, whichever case.
Yeah.
And sometimes when you are chasing the money, don't go to the top, start from the bottom. Because you need those people at the bottom to provide information for you. So if you can grab them, they will lead you to the boss. And I think some of the mistakes we do in this country is that we go to the top guy. Well, it's not only the top guy that has access to the information. Sometimes the guy who is just photocopying things in a photocopy room also has information. So start from the bottom and work your way up and prosecute them and punish them severely.
Dr. Matebi, good evening to you. He's concerned. He says that the evidence of corruption will be destroyed in the name of political violence as we speak. And so that's also another concern that people have, that by the time the NDC takes over, most of the corruption issues, the evidence will have been destroyed.
They may try to destroy the evidence. That's why I'm saying start from the bottom and work your way up. Because believe it or not, there are people who have all kinds of evidence that they don't come out with.
Well, so Madam Jean Mensah is ready. And well, not here, but of course, the officials is speaking. Mr. Tete is speaking now. Let's listen to him.
2.5 days. Authenticating the individual results are now appending their signatures to the final results to be declared. As you see them, they are coming in turns in order of appearance on the ballot paper. And it is the same way that the results sheet has been structured. At the moment, it is a turn of Ghana Union Movement rep endorsing the Form 13 on behalf of his party. Thank you very much.
And so that is Mr. Tete. Mr. Samuel Tete is the Deputy EC Chair on the left side, of course. And then also, we're bringing you pictures from President-elect Mahama and of course, his family in his residence, actually. So we're seeing incoming First Lady, Madame Lordina Mahama, and we also see their daughter seated next to them. And then their sons are also on the other side as well, all clad in white. Looking very, very excited, of course, awaiting the official declaration of the results, which, by the way, the NPP, through his flag bearer, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, had indicated yesterday in his concession speech that for presidential and parliamentary, the NDC had won, and so that was why he was making that speech. And so we're waiting for the EC to declare the results. We're given 4:30, it's 5:19 now, and you heard from Mr. Samuel Tete, they are waiting the rep from GUM to sign some documents as well. So that's what we're seeing earlier. So we're waiting for Madame Jean Mensah and announce the results. But we'll keep showing you those pictures so that once she takes her seat and is ready to address the nation, we can go straight to the Electoral Commission. But if I may ask, how do you weigh the mood in the country, looking at the fact that we waited quite a while for these results to be announced. And what do you think the mood will be like afterwards? So, I can start with you.
I believe that here, let me also say that the Vice President did very well. You know, his concession calmed nerves. All the hula balloon that they're hearing has to do with the parliamentary election. As for the presidential, everyone knows that the main container has already conceded. So what is there to fight for? And I believe they helped. And to that extent, we need to also commend the Vice President for doing just that. I also see it as people taking advantage of the situation. A lot of the vandalism that you are seeing, they may not necessarily be active NDC members. For instance, what happened in Tamale, where people were looting foodstuffs, you cannot say that it's NDC members that are doing it. That is why I called on the national executive of the NDC, and I was very happy when somebody came out to tell the members to go back. That was very, very timely, and it was a good press conference. So that if anybody beyond that decides to go and do anything otherwise, then clearly the Security Act and the IGP and its commissioners must also not leave the laws of the land. The mere fact that we are within election period or we are doing election or there is a new president-elect does not mean that the laws are not working. The laws must work. In fact, if you really love former President Mahama, you must respect the law. You understand? Because he has promised the people of this country that he will not behave in the way and manner the MPP behaved. And for that matter, President Kufuor behaved. So if you start by being lawless, then you are already creating a problem for his administration. And that will be detrimental. Because mind you, if you look at the data carefully, a lot of people didn't vote. A lot of people stay out of voting. And so these are people that have lost faith in politicians. So former President Mahama has a responsibility of bringing back the love, the confidence the Ghanaian Minister of Health. And when you say you don't know about them, you ask the Minister of Health. And when you say you don't know about them, you ask the, what's the name? Transport Minister. He said he doesn't know about it. You ask the Ghana Airport Company. They said you know. So that is a key matter that has been dealt with. The National Cathedral, they only in the name of God, $312 million have gone into the drain. They only have hole to show for. The mood you are seeing, they expect the president-elect to deal decisively with it. That is why, to be frank with you, when we are doing campaign and people begin to visit churches, I don't like it.
With the...
No, I don't like it because, you see, one of the ways people are able to act effectively is that they use the same pastors that you went to them to pray for you, to come and intercede for corrupt, it's deliberate. Corrupt officials who are members of their churches. So can you imagine that you want to, for instance, let's say the person is a church. You want him to pray for you. The member has stolen from the state. You want to deal with the person. The president received a call from this man of God. I don't know whether we are men of Satan anyway. You get my point? Then the person appeals to that Mr. President, he's my small boy. How do you balance the two? You get my point, sir?
So what, men of God should stay away from...
They should stay away, they should allow the president to win.
Yeah, but if I'm in your church and for some reason I decide that I want to run for presidency, I want to come to you to pray for me.
No, the point is that we are not doing prayer business. We are doing running of a nation.
I need anointing.
If I anoint you, have it pray behind the scenes for him.
To stop that.
They have
to stop that. If one
they have to. No amount of prayer will change the person who is so hungry. You think it was somebody's prayer that changed my mind to go and vote for such a person? My economic circumstances determine how I will vote.
Okay.
Bella, I beg you, I'm a Christian. I can see you now. Today they just want to stop me before I start. You will have to stop for you.
Yes, I wanted you to wait. I want you to wait your turn. Dr. Norman, no. I was going to go to Dr. Norman. Then you come in. Unless Dr. Norman wants you to speak.
Please, I yield to.
You are yielding to.
Senor,
He's my brother.
We're listening, Senor.
I'm saying that there are people who have been reaping and raping the state. They go to church and they sit on the front seat. They are harvest committee chairman. That's it. Some of them are church elders. I beg you in the name of God, please, this church matter should go. They are the mosque. On Friday they go. Some of them call themselves sheikhs. And they all end up facilitating loot. So please, this religion that we are bringing into our government doesn't work. China, they are not Christians. They are better than we are.
Some are Christians.
China is majority not Christian. The Christian is 0.something%. It can't be 1% in China. Please, Russians don't carry their Orthodox Christians, all right, largely. It has nothing to do with governance. Religion to stay away. Support them spiritually. I believe in Christ. I also support my brothers who are also Muslims. I think that the God is one. Anybody, you can use any roots to get there. If that's your root, it's your problem. But it will not change your attitude and heart for this country. So bringing politics and religion too much, a lot of these big pastors, I'm telling you on authority, as a businessman, they all have companies and businesses, construction companies, road construction companies. You remember that? I'm a former
Men of God have done this.
I am telling you,
yes.
Men of God.
But you see that time when the devil is following and the people are supporting them, politicians are afraid they'll use their puppet against them. So anything they want, they let them go. Did you one of those pastors or whatever? What did he send there last time was to telling his members how you deal and manage politicians? Who track a crowd? No, track a crowd.
All right.
That is kind of language.
Okay.
Did you?
Let me just go to Dr. Ifel Norman, and I want us to come back to the declaration and of course, in terms of security as well. How should we manage this so that even for supporters who may be jubilating, we can control the level of jubilation with any casualties, any disturbances. The same way we also have to manage, those who are also not too happy with the results. So how should the state security handle this?
We are all one people, one nation. Even if you are an NDC and your neighbor is MPP and you want to jubilate, please invite him or her to the event. If you have food like we do in Salah, if you are sharing food, give him some. Because then they don't feel neglected. They feel included. Because the whole policy of President Mahama is about inclusivity. So be happy for the victory. But don't insult the other party. Don't insult anyone. Because elections come in 4-year cycles. And so be careful who you offend today. Tomorrow he will be the one offending you. Let us stop all that nonsense. If we say we are Christians, we are Muslims, we believe that Ghana belongs to all of us. The victory of Mahama is victory for everyone, even if you didn't vote for him.
If you didn't vote for him, of course, we're all celebrating. But I was just asking that, in your estimation, how should the state security also manage the situation?
All right.
Yes.
I believe that the Ghana police so far have done well, except the few skirmishes that we have noticed. And even what impressed me so much about them, with the incident happening at Wuchesenya, they grabbed the perpetrators. And each event they have grabbed the perpetrators, and they are doing well to prosecute them. They should continue to work. I know they are tired. Some of them are very tired. But they should continue to safeguard the citizenry, because it is part of their responsibility. If Ghana ever needed them to be alert, this is the moment. Until the declaration is made, until the new government is sworn in, there will be tension in this country between MPP and NDC. They should monitor stealing of government equipment and government vehicles, because it's going to happen. And they should be ready to prosecute, collect the data, collect the evidence. If the cameras on the roads are not working, they should activate them. And the police should wear the body cam, so that when they are talking with big men and women in this country, they should be recording what is happening. So that if there is any event, any accusation, any crime, they at least can help to collate the evidence against the perpetrator.
What advice would you give to President-elect Mahama? He officially, when sworn in, becomes the Commander-in-Chief of the Ghana Armed Forces. And so security is also, falls on his lap. When it comes to the issue of security and how to manage it in this country, what advice would you give to him when he assumes that position?
The only opportunity that he has today is to talk to the people of Ghana, thank the people of Ghana, which I know he's going to do. The government of the country is still in the hands of President Akufo-Addo.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Eventually, when he's sworn in, he becomes the Commander-in-Chief.
Then I believe he will handle the security issues very carefully. Because if you don't, that means that you are not a leader. One of the things we don't do in this country is that for a very long time, we have not expanded our prison system. Our criminal justice system is very poor. Some of our prosecutors are not well trained. So that the man has too much on his table. And I sometimes feel sorry for him that he has won the victory, but to deliver it's going to be hard. It's going to be harder than when he was running. So one of the things you need to do, get a competent IGP.
Okay.
The one that doesn't swear to Jesus that the police force is now born again. I don't want to hear that kind of talk about secular government. We are a secular government.
He shouldn't maintain Dampare.
I haven't mentioned his name.
You're just saying he should get a competent IGP. So I'm just putting that question. Should he maintain Dampare?
That will be his choice.
Okay.
But the way that Dr. Dampare had gone in the past, with the things that have happened without him taking action, by somebody small does something bigger, they do nothing. So for me, I think it's about time to change.
Okay.
And there are a lot of things that need to happen in terms of administration of the criminal justice system. The judges need to be reschooled about delivering justice, not on the basis of identity politics, but on the basis of evidence. The training they are giving today. Who is giving them the training?
That's what you all get trained at the judicial service.
No, I disagree. I'm also a lawyer.
Yeah, but that's
I don't practice, but I know that the judicial council doesn't train you to become corrupt.
I'll let you hold on. I'll let you hold on because we've just seen Madam Gina Duque-Renta, the returning officer of the Electoral Commission, walk into the auditorium ready to address the crowd. And so
Thank you very much. I would like to start this program with an opening prayer by Reverend Ikea Oluwatu.
Let us bow our heads and pray. Heavenly Father, you have said in your word that many are the plans of men, but it is the counsel of the Lord that will stand. We thank you, Lord, that you have spoken in our nation today. It is our prayer that as you have commanded us, that it is you that establishes leaders, that you will pour out your mercy and your grace on all of us as a nation, on our leaders. We thank you, Father. We ask, Lord, that your presence be with us. May the words of our mouths and the meditation of all our hearts be pleasing and acceptable to you. O Lord, you are our strength and you are our Redeemer. Amen.
We have with us the Deputy Head of Mission, ECOWAS delegation, led by His Excellency Buka Blaise Jani. We also have with us in the National Relations Center, the UN Resident Coordinator, Ghana, His Excellency Mr. Charles Abani. We have delegation from ECONEC. We also have with us the USA Ambassador. Accompanying the USA Ambassador is the British High Commissioner to Ghana. Now I'm coming home. Before I come home, we have delegation from the Commonwealth. Head of delegation, thank you very much. We have a team from the Association of African Elections Authorities here with us. We also acknowledge the presence of ECONEC delegation if they are here, as well as the AU reps here. Thank you very much. Now I'll come home. With us, we have directors and deputy directors from the Electoral Commission of Ghana. Can we see you? Can we see you and wave? Please be on your feet. Be on your feet for Ghanaians to applaud you for the wonderful work that you've done. Thank you. Now I go to the commission members. Here with us is Commission Member Professor Peter Apiahene. Also here at the high table, we have Commission Member Hajia Salima Sani Muhammad. The one who said the prayer is a commission member, and she is Reverend Ikia Ufori-Boateng. Thank you. I'm told the EU Ambassador to Ghana is also here. And the Director of USAID is also here. I'd like to introduce another commission member, Ms. Ajua Isiama Abrefa. And now I go to the executive commissioners. At the high table, we have Deputy Chair in charge of Corporate Service, Dr. Osman Eric Asare. Deputy Chair in charge of Operations, Mr. Samuel Tete, is also here with us. And the Chairperson, the Returning Officer, Mrs. Jane Adukwe-Mensah, is here. In addition, I would like to acknowledge some few people here. Reps of the National Peace Council, representative of domestic observer groups. I can see Mr. Aini here, the National Coordinator of CODIO, reps of other international observers, members of both local and international press and media houses. Shall we see your hands? The local and international press houses with us. And I have the singular honor to seek the podium or the mic to the chairperson of the Electoral Commission and the returning officer for the presidential elections, Madam Jane Mensah.
On Saturday, the 7th of December 2024. The voters of Ghana have expressed their choice at the polls and that choice will today be upheld by the Electoral Commission of Ghana. As a commission, we have fulfilled our vowed aspiration to imbibe transparency, accountability, inclusiveness, and responsiveness at the heart of all our operations. And I can confidently say that with the help of God, we have fulfilled these aspirations and the expectations of the citizenry. We have conducted elections that are credible, fair, transparent, and peaceful. Elections that have expressed, elections that have ensured that the will of the people as expressed at the polls, elections that have guaranteed that every vote counts. As a country, we take pride in the fact that our electoral processes, initiated since 1992, uphold and guarantee the voter's choice. We take pride in the fact that the voter's choice, as expressed at the polls, is sacrosanct. Ladies and gentlemen, the last 4 years have been spent in every aspect of our work. And those elements are transparency, accountability, responsiveness, and inclusiveness. As such, we started the year poised and ready to conduct credible elections. We were conscious that elections were an event and not a process. This resolve led us to undertake several transformational decisions, including the reprinting, re-exhibiting of the Provisional Voters Register for the first time in our history, when concerns were raised about its credibility, as well as opening up the IPAC meetings to the citizenry by allowing the live coverage of all meetings. Indeed, the decisions to re-exhibit the Provisional Voters Register to allow a further review by political parties and the citizenry, as well as the demystification of the IPAC meeting, has helped diffuse the tensions that were brewing around the Provisional Voters Register. Ultimately, those two decisions restored the confidence of the citizens in the Voters Register and cemented Ghana's peace. Again, in the spirit of responsiveness, when complaints were made about the 50 pesos charged voters for the verification of their registration details online, the Commission waived the fee and allowed voters to verify their details at no cost. In line with our determination to ensure the credibility of the 2024 election, when the Commission received information of the leak of a single defaced ballot paper, the Commission acted swiftly and destroyed ballots for both Western and Eastern regions. This bold determination and this bold decision was based on our determination to uphold the integrity of the election at all costs. In less than 1 week, the Commission printed new ballot papers for both regions and went on to successfully hold the special voting 2 days ahead of the main election. As a Commission, it is that our mandate is not to make anyone a president or a member of parliament, but rather to conduct and undertake credible and transparent elections and electoral processes which uphold the voters' choice and lead to acceptable and peaceful electoral outcomes. Today, our resolve has paid off. We have conducted elections that are fair, elections that are free, elections that are credible, elections that are transparent, elections that are peaceful, and elections whose outcomes are acceptable by all. So transparent are our processes that any interested political party, media house, or citizen could collate with near precision the results of the election, attesting to the resilient and robust processes built over the years. And we witnessed this with the concession of the Vice President, even before the declaration of the results by the Electoral Commission. Ladies and gentlemen, the day also are processes we put in place. Many citizens testify to the seamless processes they witnessed at the polling stations. The average time spent at the polling station was around 5 minutes compared to several hours. The suspicions that typically characterize elections on the continent. At this juncture, I would like to thank all of you who journeyed with us to ensure the success of the 2024 election. To our staff, both permanent and temporary, we say, Ayiko, you have worked hard, put in long hours, plowed the field, and done the spade work at the risk of your own lives to bring us a successful outcome. Our hearts go out to our staff who were manhandled during this time. We wish you well, and we ask the good Lord to bless all of you. To our media partners who have journeyed with us and enabled us to bring the commission to the doorstep of every Ghanaian, we say thank you. To the Ghana Police Service and to our council, we say Ayiko, all of you, the good citizens of Ghana who have believed in us and allowed us to serve you. To our dear families and friends who have journeyed with us every step of the way, we thank you for your support, your prayers, your encouragement, and your advice. We are conscious that we could not have achieved this success without the help of the Almighty God, our anchor, without whom we could have done nothing. We remain eternally grateful, and I say thank you, Jesus. To all our observers from the ECOWAS, from the African Union, from the ECONEC, from the Commonwealth Secretariat, from the West Africa Elders Forum, supported by the Goodluck Jonathan Foundation, election systems, from International IDEA, Frimpong Manso Institute, IDEG, and to electoral commissioners from election management bodies in Africa, namely Uganda, Gambia, Kenya, Liberia. We say thank you for your support. We wish you all Godspeed back home. As a returning officer for the presidential election and in fulfillment of my mandate as enshrined in law, I will now declare the outcome of the 2024 election. It is important to note that per Regulation 63.3 of the 1992 Constitution of Ghana, the winner of the presidential election must obtain at least 50% plus 1 at the polls to be declared the winner of the election. We have collated the presidential results from all 16 administrative regions, of which 267 of the 276 constituencies have been captured. We have not been able to receive results from 9 constituencies because our offices have been besieged by political party supporters, making it impossible to complete the collation process. That notwithstanding, the presidential results from the 267 constituencies, including the newly created 1 constituency, clearly established the winner of the 2024 presidential election. Simply put, even if all the votes from the 9 constituencies were added to the candidate who placed second, it will not change the outcome of the election. It is important to note that the Commission will update the records on receipt of the presidential results from the 9 outstanding constituencies. Ladies and gentlemen, now to the results of the 2024 presidential election. And the results will be announced based on the positions of the presidential candidates on the ballot. Mahamadou Bawumia of the NPP obtained 4,657,304, being 41.61%. Daniel Augustus Latte Jr. of the GCPP obtained 16,673, being 0.15%. Christian Kwabena Andrews of the Ghana Union Movement obtained 16,461, being 0.15%. Kofi Apalu of the LPG obtained 5,219, being 0.09%. Mohamed Frimpong of the National Democratic Party obtained 4,413, being 0.04%. Nana Akosua Frimpong of the CPP obtained 23,397, being 0.21%. Mr. John Dramani Mahama of the NDC obtained 6 million. Let me take that again. Mr. John Dramani Mahama of the NDC obtained 6,328,397. And I'd like to repeat that. Mr. John Dramani Mahama of the NDC obtained 6,328,397, being 56.55%. Mr. Hassan Ayariga of the APC obtained 17,461, being 0.16%. Mr. Kofi Kranting, independent candidate, obtained 3,320, being 0.05%. Mr. Alan Kojo Tremanting, independent candidate, obtained 31,202, being 0.28%. The total valid votes cast add up to 11,191,422. Total rejected votes 239,109. Total votes cast 11,430,531. It's important to mention that the total registered voters add up to 18,774,159. And the percentage voter turnout based on the 267 constituencies stands at 60.9%. 60.9% based on the 267 constituencies. And as I mentioned, this does not include the 9 constituencies whose results we are yet to receive. Ladies and gentlemen, as mentioned earlier, results from the 9 constituencies are still as outstanding. The 9 constituencies are Yewutu Senya East, in Sawam, Aduajure, Apetia, Suhum, Techiman South, Domi Kwabenya, Ablekuba North, Ahafua North, and Damango. The total registered voters in all 9 constituencies add up to 947,116. In the event that all the valid voters from the 9 constituencies above voted for the candidate who placed second, the total number of votes he would garner would be 5,604,420, representing 46.17% of the total valid votes, which would have been 12,138,538. The inclusion of the outstanding constituencies would have given the leading candidate 52.13%, which is still greater than the 50% plus 1 required to be declared a winner. And so even with that scenario, he's clearly the winner of the 2024 election. In the light of the above, ladies and gentlemen, I have the singular honor as the returning officer of the 2024 presidential election to declare His Excellency John Dramani Mahama as the winner of the 2024 presidential election and the President-elect of the Republic of Ghana with a total percentage of 56.55%. Congratulations, sir. It is finished. Thank you very much.
Zoom.
That of Mr. Nana Kwame Bediako is 0.75%. Nana Kwame Bediako 0.75%. Thank you.
Pew, 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 pew.
All right, and it is official. Of course, the presidential results have been officially declared by the Electoral Commission, of course, done by Madame Jean Mensah, the returning officer of the Electoral Commission, and the results are out. And so we're going to just mention them one more time for those of you who missed out on it. So at the moment, of course, it's been 48 hours since the closing of polls, and she indicated that out of the 276 constituencies, they have only been able to completely collate for 267 of these constituencies. There are 9 outstanding constituencies that cannot be mentioned tonight because there are still a few challenges that the EC is facing with that, and they're working on it. But at least for the 267 constituencies that have come out, they have been able to clearly establish the winner of the 2024 general elections. And so she goes on to announce the figures and percentage. And of course, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, who's the flag bearer for the MPP, was able to get 4,657,304 of the votes, and that represents 41.6%. And Daniel Lati of the GCPP, 16,673 votes, and that represents 0.15%. Andrews of GUM also got 16,461 votes, representing 0.15%. Kofi Apalu of the LPG also got 5,219, which represents 0.09%. Mohammed Frimpong from the NDP also got 4,413 votes, representing 0.04%. Nana Frimpoma Kamokuma from the CPP, the only woman on the polls, well, she also polled 23,397 of the votes, representing 0.21%. And then the president-elect, of course, because he got the most numbers, at number 8, the NDC's flag bearer, former President John Dramani Mahama, 397 of the votes, and that represents 56.55%. Hassan Ayariga of the APC, 17,461 votes, representing 0.16%. Kofi Cranton, an independent candidate, 3,320 votes, representing 0.03%. And then George Chum Berima, independent candidate, 3,091 votes, representing 0.02%. And Nana Kwame Bediako, New Force, 84,478 votes, representing 0.75%. And finally, Movement for Change's flag bearer, Alan Tremartin, was able to get 31,202 votes, representing 0.28%. And the total rejected ballots, 200 votes, and then the total votes, 11,430,531. And this is out of the total registered voter list of 18,774,100 registered to vote in the 2024 general elections. 11,430,531 of them actually went to the polls and cast their votes. And out of those votes, 239,109 of them were rejected ballots. More than the independent candidates, any of them, and more than the results so clearly for both presidential and parliament elections, and both parties actually have results as well. And so the NDC was very much aware of it. They were only waiting for the results to be officially declared. And so with 56.55%, well, President-elect John Dramani Mahama reassumes office as President of the Republic of Ghana. And of course, there'll be a lot of celebrations, not only at his office in cantonments, but all across the country for the 6,328,397 people who voted for him as president. And so that's what you're seeing there, all of them clad in white. A number of them, a few of them actually wearing party colors, but they are celebrating. And on your screen right now, we have the National Youth Organizer for the NDC. Well, he's just gone down, but of course, we just saw him a few minutes ago. And other party executives and communication officers, remember that he served 4 terms as president before he was voted out in 2016, getting replaced by President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. He tried again, hoping that he could resume office, but unfortunately he was not able to secure that seat. But this time around, overwhelmingly, he has secured the presidency with 56.55%. And of course, Ghanaians came out in their numbers. It's quite interesting to know, however, that the total rejected votes are actually more than the figures that any of the independent candidates, any of the other candidates apart from the NPP and NDC got would be Nana Kwame Bediako, who came in as an independent candidate, of course representing the new force. He polled 84,478 of the votes. That is even far from the go round. Of course, they did their very best. We understand that they also have some financial constraints as well. But clearly, that education did not go down as expected, because if that's the case, we wouldn't have had these high numbers, 239,109 of the votes being rejected. So that is actually the real third force. Michael, finally, results have been declared.
Just a quick one on the issue of the swelled ballot. It's quite interesting that if you add all the numbers from the other smaller parties, they don't even get the 200,000, which is quite concerning. I think also Alan's performance, I don't know what to make of it. I was expecting a little more. I'm not sure what really affected him in this particular race, because if you look at the number of people who turned out for him, especially at his rallies, I was expecting quite a good run forward.
Leave, but of course Beatrice is here as well. But we're handing over to another capable team to take you through the post-conversation after the announcement. And Alfredo Kante is here, Martin Asiedu-Date and Kemini Amano. They are seated and ready, smiling. I believe that the smile is because finally the results have been declared. So I guess that also counts 10%. Everybody knows that at the end of this, you cannot get some sleep and everything goes on.
Well, partially, yes, because we still have a few parliamentary results for some constituencies yet to be announced. So we're waiting for those, about 3 of them so far. The Electoral Commission talks about 9, 3 for the Greater Accra region, 9 in total. That should tell you that the keeping tabs on some of the issues playing out right now, but it was quite clear that even if all those 9 constituencies results are put together, it will not make any significant difference for the second person who came right after John Dramani Mahama. That's Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. And so really, I recall yesterday, Professor Lansford Jampo recommended to the Electoral Commission that yes, you have a procedure and the process you go through in announcing presidential results. But looking at the tension and the anxiety that the long wait has created, you will have to be creative to ensure that even if you have a procedure, go around it and get the results out so that people would have their nerves calm. At least those many people who are sitting on tenterhooks right now really can get off their tenterhooks and go and have some fun. What we are seeing right now. Guys, thank you so much.
Thank you too. We'll be watching you.
It's been awesome.
In our beds.
You're so live here on your Election Command Center. This is Ghana Decides. Right now, the die is cast. History has been made. The Electoral Commission has confirmed, and the team is back for the post-election night coverage.
here on your election command center. We're going to cross over to Tamale right now. They are connecting with us right now from the northern part. Cookie, good evening. And I can see a lot of jubilation behind you. Let's talk to them right now. Hello, Cookie, can you hear me? Hello, I can hear you.
Here in Tamale Central. But what do you mean by the chiefs that's about to happen?
Yes, in the headquarters of the club, came to affect the NPS. In the big circle, we're going to
is that what you started vandalizing?
of history, it's something my application. So we follow the justice. That's what our intention.
All right. Okay, so please, I'm sure he would want to speak the money.
Yes, you don't know how he wants to speak. I'm not no. Insenya shouting victory. The players, your mama, as winner of the election. Most of the man, the young gun. The premier, the premier, the best of the senior super, the mama. The they never been that. Then, meeting and pray. Never been that the Canada. This will tell us thank you. That's the Canada. The prayer that fight. The different come from more. And you have to win. You let share. That's the grand mama. The prayer that fight. That makes you great come. The Canada. That makes you great. You could tell it. That was good. It's a good thing. The present gratitude to Daniel. Okay. For 15 years to be for John Dramani Mahama. Because he believes that the canvas of John Dramani Mahama is the spirit of the good work and the previous administration. And that is coming to develop. Yeah, he's just expressing gratitude to Daniel for giving the NDC John Dramani Mahama another opportunity.
John Mahama, such a contract for his first 120 days. We have to find out. Now that's the issue of the John Mahama
for the Greater Accra region for the party, Mr. Robert Kobna Adekoka. Yes. So, what did it trick for Greater Accra this time around? I know you're no longer an executive, but what did it trick for Greater Accra this time around? Even though in 2020 you won Greater Accra, but it could not give him the needed impetus to become the head of state.
You know, the election that took place was an election between Ghana and the MPP. And now you know that in Greater Accra is a cosmopolitan area, and every Ghanaian who has a family outside Accra lives here. And the economic conditions of these people who normally take care of their siblings or their parents are difficulties, right? So Greater Accra had to lead the way. That everybody is angry in this country, and that's what we are seeing. Is the anger of the people, and Greater Accra epitomizes the people, and that is why you could say across the country, and Mahama got approximately 57%, which is almost half of the country. Half of the country supports him.
You know, so Greater Accra did the trick because everybody in Ghana lives in Greater Accra, and all the economic hardships that they were going through, they had to manifest it, and it is important the capital manifest it. Now, NPP will get about 2 or 3 seats out of the 34 seats in Greater Accra. NDCs have about 36 now, and so it's only 4 left, right? So it shows the anger that was in this because all their strong with their supporters refuse to come out to vote because they themselves have had the same experience. They themselves have gone through this hardship that all of us have suffered over the past 8 years.
And much as Greater Accra has given all these numbers to John Mahama, clearly Greater Accra would equally be demanding a lot from John Mahama. You know he has a 4-year non-renewable mandate. How is he going to be able to satisfy, you know, Greater Accra, not leaving the rest of the country?
No, I don't think he should only concentrate on Greater Accra. We need the country as a whole. The mandate given to him was given to him by the good people of Ghana. And what is the problem? The problem is that they have economic difficulties. The youth are unemployed, right? So we need, the first thing that we need to do is to create an enabling environment for our youth to be employed. And I'm saying our youth should now rise up. They shouldn't be lazy. The mindset has given a mandate, which means that the country wants to come together. What the country also wants to do is that this government has looted the country, right? Has dissipated the funds of the country. Look at the cathedral. It's still about 85 million. You know, so we need to. People are looking up to him to investigate these things and find the culprits and all the monies that have been looted from the coffers of this country must be returned. That is one of the things that the people are looking up to him to do. So he's got the mandate to also ensure that there are certain reforms in the system. In the security service, when they go to the security service, you have all manner of people who have been recruited. He needs to sanitize the system.
By treating a person once a month, and of course, and the whole situation, the fact of the message is not looking from yesterday, the vice president of the Department of Health and everything was candidates in the and that is protecting the state, and we can make it all around now. And every day, always got the everything to only come back. And so, a praise to me, particularly a praise to the God, and feel powerful on the big stage, and then next to my parents, run about the end to see the millions, thousands of fucking supporters playing the streets to the Power League. Return you to America, myself, and I go, who I'll be speaking to shortly. Congratulations. Thank you very much.
So what you're seeing right now are live videos of celebration in the Volta region. This is the World Bank of the NDC there. And in fact, what we do know right now is based on our own collection here on your Election Command Center, the NDC has won all the seats, the parliamentary seats in the Volta region. You recall, the only seats that they lost in the Volta region was the Hohoi seat to John Peter Mill. And what we're learning now, in fact, we confirmed it as of yesterday, 24 hours ago, the NDC has won all the seats in the Volta region, restoring it back to factory settings, as they put it. So they've reset the Volta region essentially and having all the seats up their sleeves going into this 9th parliament. And as a matter of fact, with what we're tracking right now, the NDC is on its way to having
greater majority in this 9th parliament. That right now is of no doubt. As we're looking at things playing out, we'll go to balance of power shortly and give you a clear idea of what we've been tracking over the period here on your election command center. And back to the Greater Accra region, for instance, with 34 parliamentary seats in the Greater Accra region. You heard the former Greater Accra regional chair of the NDC, Mia Dekoka, talking about their target of 32 out of 34. So far, it's...
I'm not going to sleep. For them, this victory means so much for them. Let's go to... We are done. We thought that very soon we will come champagne. And our dreams have come true. We thank God that the history of the day as Obama as a winner. We thank you all. We all that then wish them all the best. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. One animal sheep. I can't hope for that the picture of John Mahama will bring this economy to a different level. And that is where we are told they are going to converge. And it is massive here. If you come, you will see for a very long time. And today, they are gotten it. And for them, there's no sleep for them. They are going to train.
The NDC have won that seat, obviously, for the reason that she drew a number of votes from the NPP. That was expected, that was predicted. Let's go on to the magic wall right now. Martin is here with that. It's only run through the trust. And Martin, as I was indicating earlier, from what we are seeing, from the 267 constituencies results,
one in 2016. That's when Nana won in 2016. That's when Nana became president. Let's look through the numbers. So the current number that the EC official has announced is that John Dramani Mahama has won by 56.5%. Now look at these numbers. Let's start from 1992 when Jerry John Rawlings won. And again, that was when we were going to the polls for the first time. Jerry John Rawlings got 58.4%. In 1996, when he sought re-election, he got 57.4%. The next highest was in 2000, the runoff in 2000, when John Ejekukufo also won, he got 56.9%. Since that time, every other person who has won has stayed below 55. All of them up until John Dramani Mahama coming into power. So if you see the figures on your screen, just look at the numbers at the top. We have 58.4, 57.4, then we came to 48.4, 56.9, 52.5, 49.3, 50.5, 51.2, 53.6. Then in 2020, MPP got 51.2. Now in 2024, John Dramani Mahama has polled 56.5%. The third highest, I should say, after Jerry John Rawlings and John Ejekukufo. And that's quite significant to know. And I indicated that in 2016, when we also saw a similar wave sweep across the country because people were clamoring for change for Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo to become president, he managed only 53.6, as against what John Mahama has got now, which is 56.5%. So it puts into perspective the number of people, or the percentage-wise, people that wanted change, and change has actually happened. But mind you, there are some other components you need to have in mind, which is the total number of registered voters and the actual number of people who went out to vote. We are looking at very minimal numbers. Maybe before we go to that,
yeah, because if you look at the numbers, as you just pointed out, it also needs to be underscored that this 56.55, as we indicated earlier, is without the 9 constituencies.
Right.
And out of the 9 constituencies, the NDC is claiming victory of about 6 or 7. out of the nine.
So technically,
So take a look at that.
we add that
If you
to
add
it.
that, you're looking at the 1996 and then fast forward to 56.9. When
That's
we look at the
generally
target of that 57.4 probably being broken as well, all things being equal.
Yes.
We take out 1992 because for obvious reasons. I mean,
First time going to the poll.
and then also the fact that that election for the parliamentary year. But if you look at what the trajectory of events right now and the constituencies that are outstanding, I mean, the gentleman mentioned the constituencies, the Wutu Senya. The Wutu Senya is already the NDC parliamentary candidate has won. But the electoral commission did not add the presidential. Then look at Ablekuma North. Ablekuma North, the NDC says they have flipped that particular seat. Dr. Kabinya constituency, we were here yesterday, and the electoral commission announced Faustina Akurubu as the winner. So the NDC has flipped on Kabinya, but the presidential results have not been added to this 46.5. Look at Gamongo, and then in Soma Dwejuri, we were here yesterday, in Soma Dwejuri as well. The presidential results have not been added. Then Ahafwano, all of those have not been added to this 56.55.
Yeah.
So if you look at the numerical analysis, you cannot be wrong if you say we're in for another record-breaking percentage.
Certainly, and again, you also must put it with that,
right? And that much offense is present. Fast forward to 2016, look at the tenor, 69.3. Now, this trend doesn't lie, because look at after 8 years of Nana Addo Dankwa, the NDC came through, NPP was seeking to break the 8. 2024, the lowest 60.9. And when we break down and we disaggregate the data, we see that a lot of the voter apathy was from the Ashanti region. And also, we see part of it in the greater environment. Let me give you an example. The Donkwaka constituency, the highest, but the biggest constituency going into this election, the highest number of registered voters, 182,644. Yesterday, based on the details that the electoral commissioner, the returning officer at the Donkwaka constituency announced, the voter turnout there was just a little over 103,000. What that means is that for Donkwaka,
in time, in history, since 1996.
Election Command Center, 172 seats as we have it now, based on our own certification. We've gone through every process of the way here on the Election Command Center for the NDC and 71 for the NPP and the independent parliamentary candidates as well. We're holding 3 right now as we speak. But look, this is one that also will generate another conversation. And we'll look at how the independent candidates are also going to do business. But it's quite clear how the picture looks like, what the message is in this particular number of votes that we're seeing. The records are playing and the history that's been made right now for John Dramani Mahama as president and also for the NDC in part. In the election, the NPP boycotted the parliamentary election won by the NCP and then also the Everyone Living Everywhere. But now what you're seeing, with 276 seats in this ninth parliament, Clemeny, it appears that the NDC's target of 188 may just be monitored and very clear. And be careful with their target 188 so far. That's a clear message, is it?
Indeed, Alfred. Let's take the conversation to the desk now, and over here with me on the side of things is, to my very far left, lawyer Martin Pebu. We also have Professor Ransford Jampo, and then we've been joined in the session for the first time by Jacob Osei Yeboah, who is a former presidential candidate, and Senyo Kosi, who stayed over into a session. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us in our election coverage. But let's get right on. Senyo, I'm going to start with you. Official declaration has happened. What are your thoughts about the events of the last few hours?
I really wish I had nothing for if I could have it.
What for?
I mean, have a set of sheets. You are supposed to just come and have. Don't you have your own Excel document you can put your entries? Even if you don't have any software to do with it.
I see. The results.
I agree. It's good to do that. So 1954, you don't be using 1968 record. At this stage, if Bobby always could tell how much.
Thoughts of my other guests as well. You have been, presidential candidate at least twice, is it? Yeah. Indeed. And so let's talk about this entire process leading up to now, and even the quality of the results that we are seeing.
The right thing. But they were just.
And someone with Messalaka. Mr. Nyama said, how many times you go for Yana Joa? Go to stray energy or pack here. Mr. Nyama.
The light. Minutes. How am I rushing? Do you have like 5 minutes light?
Jump to this table to dance. We are not allowing us to greet the people where to.
And in fact, Ghanaians value and in a few minutes wheels of value and in a few minutes wheels of the John Mahal person's his office of the John Mahal person's his office in Khartoum, a number of persons were coming to him, congratulating him. He's flanked by his wife, the incoming First Lady Modena Mahama, and also the Vice President, and also the first female Vice President of the Republic of Ghana, Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman. Behind John Mahama is a former Chief of Staff, Julius Debra, and then also Sami Gyamfi is speaking right now. It's a national communications. Gyamfi is speaking right now. It's a national communications officer of the NDC, and giving some instructions to the persons who are there right now. And also you have the family of John Mahama right there with him, together with the former national chairman of the party, Samuel Ofosu-Ampofo, is also right exchanging pleasantries with Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman, the national chairman of the party, Johnson Esiedun Ketia, also right there. Professor
that today is the and there will be no space for long speeches at all. Let me shout. The women here, let me hear your shout. It's a great day for Ghanaian women. A great day for Ghanaian women. Yes. Yes. Our mother is here. Give it up to our mother again, Professor
together. Again, I want to thank you. My nomination has many, many implications. You know, normally, no one even expects you to err in for all of us, but especially for our daughters, for our youth, for our women. I have a very, very bad cold, but the cold will disappear too. I know this is a big responsibility, and I don't intend to travel this journey by myself. You are all part of it. NDC is an inclusive party, and we are demonstrating the door. And it doesn't end there. Actually, that is where the work began. I will hold the door, open the door, the method of holding the door open. So others wish.
The Electoral Commission. The joint transitional team. The joint transitional team. We agreed on an early inauguration of the joint transitional team as early as Wednesday, the 11th of December. I conveyed my sincere Congress with me, John Dramani Mahama, as leader, has just chalked one of the most emphatic victories in the continent and the world are going to be on you from today. And as you said, you have not only opened the door, but you're going to keep the door open for many other women. And our general membership, I'm deeply grateful for your dedication and commitment to this cause and your willingness to give everything to ensure success in this election. To all the religious leaders who prayed for me, and there are too many to mention, at the appropriate time I'll acknowledge them individually. To all the religious leaders who prayed for me, to all the prophets who brought the tone for the new direction in which we'll be traveling. My brothers and sisters, I want those words, my brothers and sisters, to be a reminder to all of you. A reminder to me is not for one person or for one family. It's not for one person or for one family. or for one tribe or ethnic group. This country is a beautiful, resilient, and resource-rich country that we so love. Ghana is for all of us. This is our home, but it is not enough to just be born here. And our most basic people of Ghana, great nation as your next president. Every vote that was cast in this election carried the same weight. Every vote also carried a hope in the future of our country. I promise you that I will assemble and lead a government that will conduct a smooth transfer of power. It really depends on smooth transfer of power. It really depends that our history of leadership and trailblazing was not an aberration. It is not by accident that we were the first nation in Black Africa to win our independence from colonial rule. It is not by accident that the first Black person to serve as UN Secretary General, the late Kofi Annan, was a Ghanaian. It is not by accident that so many Ghanaians out there in the world are blazing new trails and being recognized as leaders in their industry. Despite being a relatively small nation, Ghana has been and will continue to be a mighty force on the world stage. We're a proud people and have every reason to be. When Ghana rises, we all stand tall with her, and Africa rises with us too. Last but certainly not the least, I'd like to thank you, the good people of Ghana, for this opportunity once more. I know that many of you are feeling frustrated and angry, but I ask you today, please do not give in to negativity and pessimism. There have been reports of acts of vandalism at some government facilities and installations. I urge you not to vent your frustration in criminal enterprise. We must channel our anger and frustration into the positive enterprise of resetting and rebuilding our nation. Let us be brief in our celebration, for the weight of office will be an onerous one. Expectations of Ghanaians are very high, and we cannot afford to fail them. Let us maintain and even magnify this joy and positivity that we feel. We have arrived at this moment because so many of you believed that change was possible. And now we know that not only is change possible, but it is also already in process. Let us continue to believe that we are already moving towards the Ghana we want, the Ghana of our hopes and dreams. And in this Ghana where we have turned a new chapter and are setting a new tone, our best days are not behind us. My brothers and sisters, our best days are ahead of us. Forward ever,
backwards never.
Backwards never. May God bless you.
Inshallah.
And may God continue to bless our homeland Ghana. Thank you very much. God bless all of you.
Give it up, give it up, give it up to His Excellency. One love, one love, one love.
So that is the first speech of President-elect John Dramani Mahama. It's made history, the first former president to seek re-election and win. That is historic. Also, his party, as the NDC, is well on its way to make history in Parliament as well. And his running mate, Vice President-elect, Professor Nana Jeno Pokojiman, has also made history, the first female Vice President of the Republic of Ghana. So this is a historic ticket that speaks.
There will be no one and since it grows dim. There ain't no hiding place from the Father of creation. Yeah. One love. Let's get together and feel alright. I'm singing.
Thank you very much. His Excellency is seated up. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, that was the leader Ghana needs and the leader Ghanaians have voted for. Another round of applause for the sixth President-elect of the Republic of Ghana. Ladies and gentlemen, we want to, on behalf of the leadership of the NDC, thank our friends from the media. Comrades, join me to give a rousing round of applause for all our friends from the media who are here. Let's clap for the media. We thank you for your partnership. We thank you for your collaboration. We thank you for your patriotism. You've been with us throughout this electoral process. And for that we say thank you. God bless you. And for those of you who were able to come here, thank you. I think you all deserve a round of applause for yourselves. Thank you so much. And at this stage, please, Vuvuzela, remain quiet. We also want to thank the IGP, the Election Security Task Force, and all the noble men and women in uniform for the human job they have done. But ladies and gentlemen, at this critical stage, I want all of you to remain silent. All of us, let's remain silent. Let's rise to our feet. His Excellency, all dignitaries, let's rise to our feet and observe a minute silence for all our fallen comrades. All comrades who we lost in the struggle from 2020 to this 2024 election. A minute silence.
I didn't like it. I thought you would come.
May the soul of the departed rest in perfect peace. We conclude with Aseda by Nasir, even as the President-elect takes leave of us. For those of you who want to party, His Excellency has given you the right to party, but he has told us to be very brief and to be very responsible. DJ, let the music flow. Aseda by Nasir. Thank you so much. God bless you. Thank you.
You use what TikTok? Oh, this one is called YouTube. Oh my God. What is this?
days have gone. So we want to dance. Give us quick. Our fathers and mothers have left, so give us quick. After quick.
Around the economy to bring it to a standstill. This resonates across a lot of people were here and they gave him a resounding round of applause and saying that this will be something new that probably will be able to get the economy back on its feet. We can clearly see a lot of people who are jubilating and also having so much fun at the various constituencies where the jubilation started, the movement, it has got into the supporters, and we are going to engage with most of the members of the party to get to know how they felt about the statement from His Excellency John Dramani Mahama and what more they are expecting from him. You're live on TV3 and thank you for joining us. Congratulations to you and your team members. The president made mention of the fact that he's looking at collaborating with members of the New Patriotic Party and also the NDC as well coming December 11th. What do you make of that and what more are you expecting from him?
Well, I think that's a step in the right direction, owing to the fact that we all admit the country is in serious crisis. The fact that the president-elect promised the good people of Ghana to start action in 120 days requires that we start running as fast as we can, just so we can achieve the promises we made to the good people of Ghana. I will hope and pray that things will move smoothly, and with a clear majority in Parliament, I think it's going to be a very positive government and a very positive administration. I also would align myself with the statement made by the chairman of our party and repeated by the president-elect that we have been overburdened and our shoulders is the hope and aspiration of the good people of Ghana. So we must do everything we can to live up to those aspirations and never disappoint the good people of Ghana. We thank the good people of Ghana for this opportunity.
Right, we are also the MP-elect for Ayawasu East constituency. Congratulations to you on your win. How are you going to collaborate with the president to ensure that there's also development in your constituency?
No, the next person is the MP-elect. The next person is a sitting MP, an MP-elect. I'm not the MP-elect. He's the next person.
Well, let me proceed. Congratulations to you on your win. I was asking your other colleague how you're going to collaborate with the president to ensure that you will be able to work together to bring the economy back to its feet.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. Today, His Excellency has given his acceptance speech, which is, he talks about how we are going to reset Ghana. He talks about how we are going to comport ourselves, from now on, before swearing in. He talks a lot. So today, we say a big congratulations to Ghana, to all of us. For the whole Ghana. It's a big congratulations. And we are looking forward to see how we are going to reset Ghana to make sure that the 24-hour economy is going to work for the nation. So it's a big thank you. Yes.
Right, thank you so much. So we are still here at the premises of the office of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. I'm going to get to engage more people as well. We are live on TV3. What does this win mean to you, and also what are you expecting from His Excellency when it comes to developmental work in the creative sector?
Well, thank you for the opportunity, but I have
But the prominent and the most important is that he should really take it easy and rather smoothly. All of us can attest to the fact that the numerous problems we have here was not solved today. It was solved about 8 years ago. But I'm sure there are some basic things that he be really, really tackles, like getting back the roots and money and stuff like that. Eh? I would like to be a who will supervise this in the past men. Because, of course, we know what is there. But I think that we should all make it a point to help him make his 4 years, 4 decades. Because I know that he is so dynamic and he's so promising. We will not get it wrong with the choice that we have made. We never get it wrong. Thank you so much for speaking to that. And it's a moment of jubilation and so much excitement. There are quite a number of people here in their NDC t-shirts, having all over their heads and bodies, signifying and signing off the victory for them as well. I am here with my colleague from Chair, who has been here at the office of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama since morning till this hour. Before I came to take over from him, we're having a conversation, a really interesting one. The Vice President, who was also an aspirant to the Patriotic Party, leads just a stone throw away. And I am sure that probably he might have heard some of the statements that came from John Dramani Mahama. Quite funny, I should say. Well, I mean, it tells you the beauty of the process. Because if you look at it, for Dr. Bawumia to be living about just 150 meters or so from here, and often when we come back from campaign, late in the night, we meet the poor boy and all that. For me, it tells me that, look, the dynamics of this election, and also to the fact that these people are not just from two opposite sides. They live not far from each other. And there's a story told by John Mahama that when he was young, Dr. Bawumia and how they grew up and all that. The relationship is there. So for me, the takeaway is what could be running in the mind of Dr. Bawumia, hearing the music. You know, of course, this could have been him anyway, but it's the other way around. But I think he's been very magnanimous, even right from yesterday. He didn't waste any time. You know, right before big day, he was able to see the beat, and to the effect that John Mahama has to also give him a credit and all that makes it a beautiful thing. But the work that lies ahead, we must be serious about it. John Mahama has a lot of work to do. One, the country is really divided now. He needs to be able to put a country together and hit the ground running. And it's the more reason why the NDC must be cautious in the celebration. You cannot force them for it. Let's allow them. Transition starts on Wednesday. Today, of him today, whether it's new or not, I think the video was
So, procedures provided under CR 127, for which certain things ought to be done in accordance with those procedures. For instance, what the law says that a presiding officer must sign the pink sheet. Not signing it makes it very materially erroneous. That such lapse goes to the core of the matter. What is the matter? You have a pink sheet, the original of which is different from the duplicate. And they admitted that upon the surrender of the pink sheet by their officers from the field, some of the ECO officials actually sat in their offices and completed them. So they actually fabricated these pink sheets. And we are objecting to about 3 of them. 4 of them. In any case, whether or not these pink sheets are objected to, we were leading. So, Honorable
by now, what is holding Mr. Oposuhini from declaring the results? It appears that there's something telling him not to declare the results. But we are bringing this matter to the attention of the nation. Because you see, he has a duty under law to declare the results that are regular. The collation process is not to collect irregular results. Whatever results that are determined to be irregular ought not to be collated. So the regularly collated ones who have to be declared. He doesn't want to do that. And the EC head office are aware of this matter. The regional office are aware of this matter. Why it has taken the EC all this while to make intervention surprises me. But whatever it is, they can no longer steal the Central from us. They cannot. Our next line of action, I am unable to tell. Because you see, the circumstances under which we find ourselves here, the multitude, the masses, the people who came out to vote for Ebi Bright this time round, they will sit down.
For this conference ongoing at the moment in the Tema Central constituency, Nelson Watson Dafiameko, who is a private legal practitioner, is also a member of parliament elect for the South Dai constituency. Second, got re-elected, and we're going back to the constituency right now. He's a lawyer to Ebi Bright, who is the NDC candidate for the Tema Central constituency.
I want to have intervened this matter by now, but you see, they will do it because where an issue of officer is confronted with issues that clearly is unable to handle, the superiors are supposed to intervene. And yet they are unwilling to do that. But they cannot, yes. But they have to declare. Even if it takes us 1 week, they will declare. Thank
you. Well, so what you just heard is a press conference that was just addressed by the South Guy, member of parliament. He has won his seat, his election. Candidate for the Tema Central constituency. The Tema Central constituency is one of 3 constituency results in the Greater Accra region that has not been declared as we speak by the Electoral Commission.
We can say around some of them. There's no so very soon. Because studio. And I'm Santa say, Abana your photo. 70 cross 100 seats our parliament. Look, you're going to 90. You're called rounds. In the ADC. 2016, we catch up before to say, over PT Mahama, not less than 1 million voters. Or no, with TMA. Just 1 year. Kind of bizarre, they say, or it is also within a difference in too much. Yet, 12 and you have the next day, one would declare the next day to come on and say, difference in what they say. And one more training, I say, what tell me. Yeah, a young you, a tracer, defeat you. No, what I saw 2016, they could look at a triple this time. Now, Sunday, Bibra Penny, a kind of Ganya Hunter. No. What's the America say? One more style, no, the pet. May point out certain things, and one more for the job. Who are very now will secure another term. Who communication is already appealing. Who yet opposition for every castle without punctuation. But who are very good here? Who is here very, very critical. I want it. So, what we are like.
for the NDC and the NPP to know what their next direction is when it comes to the Tema Central constituency. This is a constituency that was actually won by the NPP in the 2020 election.
Alive. Yo, wait.
Sheets that were signed and filled by the PO after polls have closed. And so we refused, we rejected them. Now, how can you photocopy? And I'm saying photocopy, but that's a carbon copy of the original.
The National Women's Organizer of the NDC, Dr. Abisio, in the Tema Central constituency. Now they know they are member of parliament elect. That's a big right on the ticket of the NDC after a long wait. Now that declaration has been made. Let's go to Ablekuma North because that's another outstanding constituency result. And Portia Gabon is there for us. Portia.
Honorable, are you done with the collation?
219 out of 281. 219 out of 10 o'clock to continue with it. We'll find those boxes and those polling pink sheets and then we'll proceed. So tonight we have completed 219 out of 281. The remaining 62 will be back tomorrow.
Results from Ablekuma North. There is a pause in the collation.